Michael! There you go, hit the Michael. All right, hit the Michael. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Heaven. Christine. Good morning, Jerry. Deborah, thank you all for sharing. War, what is it good for? I want to talk about war is a racket today. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. Hopefully you're remembering the right things. Hopefully we're remembering things related to the truth, things that are forward looking. I come from a military family, so of course the day is quite personal for me. Quite personal. Lost people in my family to war, lost friends. And I think we got to remember the right things. Remember the people who were lost. And remember and try to be an upgrade from them and move forward. Be an upgrade so we can stop making Memorial Day sustainable. You know what I'm saying when I say that? Stop making Memorial Day sustainable. Sustainability, you're doing it the wrong way. Stop making Memorial Day sustainable. Stop making things we need to remember. Stop making things we need to memorialize. War is evil. It's always been evil. Always be evil. It's never going to stop being evil. War is a racket today. War was a racket yesterday. War is a racket tomorrow. War is going to be a racket next week. War is going to be a racket in Venezuela. War is a racket in Iran. War is a racket in Iraq. War is a racket in Saudi Arabia and Yemen. War is always a racket. Always. World War II was a racket. World War I, the second version sequel, part 2, when the bankers wanted to make big billions. War is a racket then. War is always a racket. Not have read Smedley, Butler's War is a Racket. You need to. We got to remember the right things. Can you hear me now? Okay, you got Augustine was here earlier. I'd have Michael. Good morning, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. Hopefully it's happy because we stopped making it sustainable. All right. Woo. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, Brother Tom. Justice coming. Good morning. Good morning, Deborah. Debbie. Good morning, Christine. Was the big time before World War II, not ever war anymore. Was the big time after World Order II. What's WO? I don't know what that is, Christine. What's that? Everybody off getting the barbecue today. Think about the right things. Think about it the right way. Stop with the nationalism. Stop, people. Stop. Your nations have absolutely nothing to do with war, and they never have. Your nation is completely war agnostic. The flag and all of this cheering and, oh yeah, pledge allegiance, all it is to do from Big Brother Smedley Butler, military, Marine, fought his way from the bottom up finally to let everybody know war is a complete racket. Everybody's making money. Everybody's making money on murder. There is no nation benefit to war, not now, never has been, never will be. We need to process that. I gotta put him up here. Where's his brother at? If you've not read War's a Racket, their audio books all online. You can go take a look. Memorial Day. We need to stop making it sustainable. We don't need any more wars. We don't need any more dumb military actions to make corporations billions and banks billions. Like I said, Game of Thrones, was that yesterday? Everybody still crying about that? Are y'all still upset about the Game of Thrones? No, you watch it Sunday. No Game of Thrones. We need to protest. Redo season 6. War is a racket. Even in Game of Thrones, war was a racket. War is always a racket. That's why they went to the Iron Bank to get the money. War is always young men dying, young women dying too now, killing other people so corporations, coffers, banks, and kings can make big dollars. It got nothing to do with your flag or your indoctrination. And that's why they get these kids so young. That's why they get them so young. I want to address a few things I've seen on social media today, and then we're just going to do comments. Just talk about wars a racket. Let me get Smedley Butler up here real quick. Because I have to. This is what I have to do. Today is Memorial Day, and I'm memorializing my live stream, Smedley Butler. Smedley Butler. Happy Memorial's Day, Smedley's brother. Brother, thank you. Thank you for letting us know the truth. Not born too far from me. Down in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Won 2 congressional medals of honor. Explain to me, tell me how many of your 2020 war criminals won 2 war congressional medals of honor. And finally, he came back from all of his career, looking at how it works from the inside to outside, climbed his way up from the bottom, and no, he didn't go to college to become an officer. He fought his way up to the top. The highest, I think he was the highest rank at the time, wasn't he? The highest rank at the time, to explain to the world that war is always a racket. Always a racket. It's always just about money, 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 money. It's never about red, white, nor blue. It's never about Britain. It's never about America. It's never about anything other than corporations making money. And he broke it down in his book. He broke it down. From the underwear manufacturers, because the troops need underwear, to the toothpaste manufacturers, the toothbrushes, who makes the shovel, who makes the airplane, who makes the shoes and the socks, to the banks they lend the money from, to the oil for the equipment, just to murdering people, just to murder people. That's the only thing. And they pass all that debt down to the next generation. If you are a patriot or a nationalist and you are cheering war, you think your president, your Congress, and your Senate are doing anything for you? Lost, completely lost. Your kids will pay the bills so you can have a better retirement. Because that's really what it comes down to, right? Getting people killed for big corporations that want to sell crap. Big corporations that want land to plant bananas. Big corporations that want to colonize a nation, want to use the rubber trees, want to take over the rubber plantation. Vietnam. All wars have always been a lie from the very beginning, and they're always funded by the same banks. That's why I was hitting on the Rothschilds the other day. Don't be mad at them. They know what they're doing. It's us who keep the system going. They set it all up. The Rothschilds, with 175 of them or something, run some of the biggest corporations in the world, and the biggest Rothschilds run the banks that fund all the wars. It's just about looting your nation. Looting your nation. If you are a nationalist flying a flag, I don't get it. You might as well be a gang member on the street. It's always about. Actually, you know what? No, that's not true. That's not true. Because people in gangs get more benefit from war than nations do. They do. People in gangs, they get 40s, they get alcohol, they get more guns, they get a place to live, they get a brotherhood, people to love. War nations, you don't get that. Show me some American troops that got that. Hey, they didn't get that. They went and fought, died, paid to fight and die, or paid to get maimed, paid for PSD, came back, and the government turns it back on. At least gang cartels take care of their people. War's always a racket. All right, good morning, everybody. Whew. And why? Why? Well, because we work for the corporations and they make our retirement. Let's say, for example, I work for a shoe company. I'm not going to mention one. And I have my investment, my 401k in shoes. Does the shoe company want war? Hell yeah. Why? Because people wear the boots and the shoes to war and they die. And they got to buy more. Then they got to buy more. And then more people die. And then they got to buy more. They get blown up. They get burned up, eviscerated, drone attacks. And if my retirement is based on shoe sales, then I'm complicit. This is why I don't blame soldiers. I don't blame soldiers at all. Like I saw a post, I won't say the brother's name, y'all might know who he is, but he was asking a question. He said, why do people, I forgot the question exactly. He was just saying, why do people like cheer or something to soldiers, something. And like I said, I'm from a military family. I view this very differently. You can't be anti-soldier. You got to be anti the root cause, right? These are just young men. They're brainwashed. Young women, they're brainwashed. They're told that they are defending their country. They are told, they're brainwashed to believe that they're doing the right thing. You definitely can honor people who die in war. Just people. And plus, you're getting a retirement off of it anyway. You're only paying $5 for lattes, so you're getting benefits from war too. So I say honor the people, don't honor the war. You can definitely honor the people, like the good brother Casey Sheehan. I did that interview not too long ago with Cindy Sheehan. She lost her son to war, and then she became one of the most prominent anti-war speakers on the planet. She saw through the rig. She saw that it was a lie. Does she honor her son? Hell yeah, she loves her son. She doesn't honor the war. You can honor somebody wanting to make a change, somebody who thinks they're doing the right thing, but they're being lied to. No different than we honor you. You got a retirement on a shoe company, a toothpaste company, a company that makes shirts for the war effort. Your retirement's based on that. You die, we honor you. You think you're doing the right thing with your 401k and saving and working for these big corporations and having a bank account. To me, it's no different. That's why I say you don't ever blame the soldier. Remember their memory. Remember their memory and what they tried to do, but be an upgrade from them and look at why they died. Look at why they were hurt. Look at why they got PTSD. Ask why 22 soldiers commit suicide a day here in the United States. War is a lie. It's always been a lie, and it's always started by people who are cowards who refuse to go do the fighting for their damn self or send their kids. We need to grow up. We need to learn this. There's no left or right when it comes to war. There's only dumb and dumber. That's it. No, actually, I take that back. It's dumb and dumb. That's all it is. And then we hail war criminals. We praise the people who send our kids to die. Why? We're indoctrinated, stupid as. I kind of give soldiers a little more of a leeway when it comes to that than I give us. They're young. Most of us are older. We've got frontal lobes. We've got the ability to process the information. We can sit at home and look it up on the internet. We can read the book Always A Racket and determine that it's always a lie. You're never going to help children. You're never going to help women. You're never going to free anybody. You're never going to give democracy. You are going because somebody wants to sell mouthwash, somebody wants to sell bottled water, somebody wants a banana field, somebody wants some oil, and the banks want to fund it all. That's the only reason war exists. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else. Nothing else. War's not good for anything other than making thousandaires millionaires and millionaires billionaires. Nation has nothing to do with it. Grow up. Let's move forward. Nations don't exist. They haven't existed in a very long time. All you have are massive corporations and interests. And then the really, really lost people with flags, which are just representative gang signs that don't seem to understand how the world works. All right, I know. I was yelling. I wasn't yelling. I get it. I said it's personal for me. It's personal for me. I know people who died because of the war effort. And so that's why I don't play on Memorial Day. I talk about it like it is. You know, it's how it is. We can't let go of the dream. No, Yvonne, we can't let go of the dream. And we have to dream forward. We have to move forward. We have to be able to look back at the very powerful, positive people who tried to make a difference, but then were lied to and fought in a war and came home and said the wars are lies. Stop voting for them. Stop supporting them. Stop cheering violent war criminals who vote for war and send young people to go die thinking you're helping something. You're not helping anything. You're making corporations big money, buy more politicians to keep war going on. That's why we have endless wars, because of central banking. Central banking. Do you actually think that nations that can't repair their damn bridges and roads actually can afford a war? They can't. When you have central bankers, you can have endless war. No one can afford a war on the scale that they fight it now. At all. None of them. That's why they do these little small engagements. And world wars are always funded by the central banks. It's because it's how they make money. It's just for profit. just for money, just for money. Stop cheering violence. When your president and your congressmen and your senators start talking about war, your prime minister, please stop clapping because you sound stupid. You sound dumb and ignorant. You don't actually get how the world works. It's just money for blood. That is it. And they will bleed your country dry. They will bleed every last young person till the tourniquets are dry and crispy, or until they deflate your currency to zero. And we're almost there in the United States. Value of the dollar is down almost 99% since 1913. Why? Because of central banking and endless war. They are bleeding the country dry full of debt, and guess who has to pay that back? Because the Rothschild banks aren't going anywhere. They're still going to be here. So guess who gets to pay for that? Guess who gets to pay for all of that blood and war, the people they murdered over there, and the kids that got murdered going to go fight for it? Your kids do. Your grandkids do. It's always been a racket, and it's always been a lie. Always been. Please stop. Please stop. Because you're no different than gang members. That's it. I see the same people who yelling and screaming at MS-13. Oh, we gotta stop and protect us from MS-13. They're coming in the country. Stop and protect us from the white nationalists. Stop and protect us from the Bloods and the Crips. You're no different. You got the flag. You got the nationalism. This is your nation, my country. It's not your country, not your nation. It's owned by banks and corporations, and you're no different. It's just gang violence on a national scale. That's all it is. Gang violence. You are living in a society that's murdering the world, and you're scared of some people over there. You're scared of gang violence. You're scared of the hate at the local level. You're scared of the hate at the kid level. You're scared of the hate that comes out of the trailer park. You're scared of the hate that comes out of the ghetto and the burial. You're scared of the hate that comes across the border. But you're okay with the hate that your government deploys for you to keep you safe in the war. That's the only thing you might get out of war. You get temporary safety. But they're going to turn that war on you. They're going to turn that violence on you, because when they're done looting the world, that war always comes back on you in a form of poverty, because they're looting your country. That's all they're doing, looting the country. That's how you get a patriot, and you turn them against themselves. You turn them against the next generation by getting them to cheer war. Smedley Butler had it right. This brother, I want to talk about him for a little bit, because he had the book Always A Racket. He had 5 chapters, very short book. You can get it online. It's a damn audio book. You can listen to it. Chapter 1, Always A Racket. He explains to you what he saw and all the corporations that are making money. It's a lie. It's always been a lie. Outside of the fact, it's a false flag, and every single time they always lies into it. And 2, who makes the profit? He goes through the companies that make the profit. From the people who make the laces to the t-shirts, from the people who big up the bodies, the people who make the shovels. Always a racket, always. And on top of all of them are always the big banks. This is why big business can't exist. This is why big corporations shouldn't exist at all. Chapter 3, who pays the bills? You, dummy, and your kids. You get nothing for it. People die, and then you get to pay the bill for the next 50 years, because the central banks that around the world, all these Rothschild banks, aren't going away. They loot your country, and you will pay them back. And and your kids will pay them back. And you will live in mass poverty until you do. This is how you take over a world as a Rothschild banker. Chapter 4, how to smash the racket. He explains 3 steps in smashing the racket. Although I'm not sure if these are updated for today in Rothschild banking. I'm not sure if they're updated. But the most significant one of the 3 steps, he said, is your soldiers, your ships can't be within 200 miles of your borders. Pass an act, pass an addendum, pass a constitutional amendment that says your soldiers can't be without 200 miles of your border, and wars can't be fought. Because none of these wars are defensive, they're all offensive. All of them. They're all for the corporations, they're all for banks. They're all offensive. All right, I'm yelling. Like I said, it gets a little personal for me. It's a little personal. I know too many people who died from war. Step 1, he says we must take the profit out of war. Why is war profitable? Because big corporations can make money killing people. They're profitable because people are nationalists. They're profitable because people think wars are still about nations and freedom and helping people. You're over 7 years old, grow the hell up, read a book, learn what war is. Take the profit out of war. You can't have big corporations. To me, I think if you got a corporation that has more than 50 or 500 people, it shouldn't exist. If you don't have big business, they can't buy big politicians and big politics. Take the profit out of war. Also get rid of central banking. Step 2, he said, we must permit the youth of the land who would bear arms to decide whether or not there should be a war. Right? You know how you sign up for the military and you don't have a choice? Give them a choice, you know? But we already had that before they threw out the Constitution and burned the Bill of Rights. We already had that. Your government couldn't have a standing military because they knew that this would happen. They knew that we would be stupid enough, you know? They say that a soldier who goes AWOL can be shot during war. Give the troops an option. Give the soldiers a choice. If they actually have a choice, they won't go. Why? Because 22 a day are committing suicide. This is how you remember them. Give them a choice. 3, we must limit our military forces to home defense purposes only. Stop calling it the Department of Defense. It is not the Department of Defense. It is the Department of Oligarchy. It is the Department of Corporations. It's the Department of Sellout. It's the Department of Murder for Debt. All right. And in chapter 5, his last chapter, is To Hell with War. I put the link out there. It's all over the internet. You can read, very short. You can read his book in less than 30 minutes. So chapter 5, To Hell with War. Send war back to hell from whence it came. Because all it is bloodletting, and we're all family. It's literally bloodletting within your family to give you debts, to make corporations billions. You don't seem to get it. I still see people cheering. All right, anyway. Good morning. I'm sorry. That was a serious rant this morning. It's a little personal. Anyway, how is everybody doing? I'm gonna go through comments and that's it. I'm gonna go through comments. This ain't gonna be a long one. Honor the veterans, not the wars. Yes, Brother Daniel, I agree. Honor the veterans, not the wars. Honor the people who were lost, who didn't understand what was happening. Damn sure not the politicians who sent them. Damn sure not the corporations that made the money for it. Don't work for them. Don't invest in them. Pull back. But there's nothing wrong with honoring people who think they're doing the right thing, people. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't go to the extreme side. Calling soldiers baby killers. They're not. They're not. They're young people who were put into an airplane, who would go to prison if they didn't go, dropped into harm's way in somebody else's country, and they absolutely defended themselves. But when they signed the paper, they thought they were going to be defending their nation. Now that they're there and people are shooting at them and throwing grenades at them, what do you think they're going to do? Blame the people who set up the conflicts. Blame the people in your popular people, the ones that you vote for, the one on your bumper sticker, the one on your refrigerator. They're the ones who send these people to war. They are the baby killers, the ones that you cheer and clap for, the ones I see you posting all your 2020s for. Those are the war criminals. Those are the baby killers. Do you like babies? But that's the issue. Some people don't like babies. Some people don't give a damn as long as they ain't their baby. All right. Hashtag no more war. Yes, Yvonne, absolutely no more war ever. They're always a racket. Today, tomorrow, next week, next Thursday, next excuse, next lie, next false flag, next they're always a racket at all times. Protecting is ridiculous word for what the war machine does. Exactly, Lori, but you read. That's the problem. We have too many people who don't read. We need to be educated. We need to learn that reading is fun to mental. War is never fun. It's just mental, and it creates mental illness. Let me see. Hashtag no more war. That's right. We cannot blame the countries we're at war with. They're just trying to defend themselves against our terrorist organization. Brother John, spot on. They are terrorist organizations that run our country. We've had a coup. We haven't had a constitution or bill of rights in a very long time. And these are killers that work for big corporations that run our nation. thank you. You can't blame people from defending themselves. They're not terrorists. They are actually freedom fighters defending themselves from our young people who get tricked and lied to treasonously and treasonously dropped into harm's way. Absolutely. So why can't we promote reality and real life? Well, Debbie, I think that's just because of the media. The media lies to people. People get to cheering. Like today, what are people doing today? I'm just watching today. I done drove here, Debbie, came here. Well, I'd say I came here in my carriage. Came to work in my carriage because I'm at slavery today. And nobody was at work today. I was the only one on the road. I'm coming to work. Where everybody at? Where are the horses and carriages? Oh, everybody has a day off. What are they doing today? It's Memorial Day. Oh, they're staying home. They're going to barbecues. Oh, they're going to fly the flag. They're going to throw up their gang signs and have parties and drink alcohol. No difference in the kids on the streets shooting each other's up, doing drive-by shootings. Oh, they're going to celebrate war. Oh, okay. That's why people still think war is glorious. They still think there's honor in it. They still think that the kids are actually fighting for something decent. They actually still think that the kids were defending it. There's nothing wrong with calling war for what it is. No, you're not defending me. No, you're not making me safer. You're a young person who was lied to, and I'm not going to blame you. I'm going to blame the people who lied to you because that's called treason. That's why the mainstream media glorifies war. I don't turn on the TV, but I'm pretty sure if you're watching TV today, you're going to see red, white, and blue everywhere. Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. The color of the Rothschild's shield of dishonor. The reality, Debbie, is kept from us. That's my perspective. I could be wrong. Reality is kept from most people, and most people, they trust leadership. They trust being led. Good morning, Leanne. It's personal for us all. Thank you, Yvonne. And it should be. It should be because you're 7 billion cousins all across this planet. I'm saying it's personal because people very close to me were lost for the war effort. You know what I mean? Very close to me. There are people that shouldn't have been gone who are gone. And I want to honor their memory in making sure we say the things that are truthful about war. That's what I do on Memorial Day. I don't fly a flag on Memorial Day, and it's not an anti-flag thing. It's just an understanding what gang violence is. It's the same thing as national violence. As long as the Rothschilds can convince you that you are in control of your country, then they can get you someone to go fight with. So Memorial Day is only happy if we remember those who were lost, but that they were fooled. So we don't create more. We don't make a sustainable Memorial Day where we keep having to remember things that we keep forgetting. People keep dying, so we keep remembering them. Like all right. I know. Does that make any sense? Wars weren't meant to be won. They were meant to be continual. Yes, Brother Daniel, because that's where the money comes from. As long as the wars are continual and endless, then big corporations can make big dollars. They can enslave the next generation to pay the debt back. And people scream and cry for jobs. We need jobs. Why? To pay for the debt from the previous generation. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Somehow in the mind of a fool. Instead of honoring wars was a national day, we should honor hippies. Well, we should honor everybody, John. Everybody's born in their own little space. They're all indoctrinated to believe certain things, and then they're played into conflict. And it's time we free the human race. We need to free the human race from war and violence. And this concept that it's a good idea to put people in power and leadership who aren't smart enough to make decisions and negotiation without violence and war. But everybody get that ego from it. All right. It's spot on as always. Well, thank you, Elizabeth, but I'm not spot on. I'm stupid, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I was born indoctrinated like everybody else. Nothing I know that don't nobody else know. What I'm doing is I'm listening to a professional. I'm listening to someone who was there on the ground, someone who sat in Washington, someone who talked to the people in the corporations and worked with the economic hitmen and realized they were killing people for profit. Realizing the corporations are making money, and I'm saying what he's saying. That's all. So it's not on me. I'm not spot on. He is spot on. And this is why Smedley Butler is to be remembered at Memorial Day. That's who I remember. At the barbecue, that's who you want to talk to. You're going to the barbecue about 45 minutes to get there. Where y'all going? About 30 minutes? What you can do is you can go to YouTube and I'll post a link. You can pull up his audiobook, play it in the car. So when you get there, you know how to answer the questions. Stop cheering war. Iran is not your enemy. They are a country that doesn't have nuclear weapons. People from the tennis shoe makers to the cheeseburger makers to the bun makers and the MRE makers and the people who make the little medals for the pins that go on their shirt. All those corporations want to make money and they're okay to murder all the people over there to do it. Why? Because it's a model. We cheer it, embrace it. We have not changed it. So they're going to keep buying politicians to do it. Stop believing these politicians. All right. So yeah, that's my point. Listen to professionals. Don't listen to me. Listen to him. America's an oil company with an army. Yes, Bet. And I love how you said that, Bet. Is it Betty or Bet? I love how your name is spelled. B-E-T-T-E. Love that. Betty. Yes, sister. War. America is an oil company with an army, but we're also a button company with an army, right? We're also a coltan company with an army. We are also a soda company with an army. You know what I'm saying? We sell soda to the vending machines. They put the vending machines up in the war zones where the soldiers go fight, and they can get the government to buy $500 million or whatever, some sort of soda, send it over there. The point is, we are a corporation with a military, and we really need to accept that. Outside of the fact in 1933, when we became the United States Corporation, we are a corporation with an army. The bottom line is not freedom and democracy, helping people or babies or sentience. The bottom line is just money. Just money. But not only that, we're a corporation that's being collapsed with the military. Because all the war is doing is just looting our country. JFK was murdered because he tried to warn us. Yes, Betty, JFK, Abraham Lincoln tried to warn us, so they killed him. The only two presidents that fought central banking, and that probably has to be the biggest profiteer in the war effort. But all these big corporations all profit from it because the government takes your tax dollars and they print money, so it's your kids' tax dollars and your kids' who ain't even born, and they buy all the soda to send the soldiers to war. They buy all the spoons and the sporks that go in the MREs. See, I'm a big proponent of support the troops by listening to them. Not all the troops, because some of the troops they send over and they indoctrinate, and then they flip them warrior genes and they bring them back and they're pro-war. I'm the support the troops by listening to the troops, the veterans that actually saw how it works and that it's always a racket, the ones who've seen the inside. So you want to support the troops? Listen to the troops. You want to honor the troops? Listen to the troops. The army is okay, but business shouldn't exist. I'm okay with an army, Rebecca, from a defense perspective only, right? I mean, it's real. You know, it is a real idea that, yeah, sometimes somebody might come to invade you. I'm all for collapse everything, break up all the tanks, break up all the weapons, shut it all down, but you keep a small defensive force. And that was another point in his book. He said you keep a small defensive force to defend your nation only. If a corporation pretending to be a nation has a military big enough to invade, that's exactly what they'll do. But if you limit them, if they only got enough weapons to defend their country, they only got defensive systems, not offensive systems, they only have defensive capability, not offensive, they have no choice. We got to stop giving our government, our corporation, our corporate owners an option to go murder people for money. All right, isn't just the West that's at stake. No, the whole world's at stake, Randy. We're about to destroy the whole damn thing. Western world is still controlled by the Romans of old, aren't they? Well, you know what? I think the way they put that, Debbie, is it's always handed down, like those coffers are always handed down, kid to kid to kid, and bloodline feudalism never end. And, you know, so it always keeps getting handed down, and government is just this latest lie and a control scheme to kind of keep those same bankers' families in control. And so that's kind of how it handed down in the Rothschild wealth, is that they funded all sides of most wars since the Napoleonic Wars. You know, so I wouldn't say it's the Romans in control, but damn sure it's the same family. And they're doing what we would do. This is why I don't blame people. Mostly we need to fix this, not them. They're going to make the money because people like money, and we love money. Don't want to love money, but money buys the things that keep you alive. It buys the things that keep the people you love alive. That's why we need a world shift. We need a paradigm model shift for the world. Nations don't exist. Governments have all failed. It's a failed experiment. We need to go figure out what it is to have humanity. And you're never going to have it with leaders. Like I asked the question this weekend, can you be free with a leader? Can you have freedom and liberty if you have a leader? And most people, well, most of my friends anyway, they replied, no. I had a couple trolls slipped in some AI. You can't have freedom with a leader. You're literally being led around. You literally are in line. Like, you know how we used to go to lunch? We're in grade school, we used to go to recess. You get in line and you're being led. You can't have freedom and liberty if you're being led, if you actually have a leader. Representative form of government has to die so you can go your own way. You don't need to walk in a line behind somebody else. You go your own way. You find your own freedom. That's why I think government's a failed experiment, because it's based in people having leaders. No, Lori, there's no defense about it. We do not have a Department of Defense. We haven't in a very long time. We probably never did. War is never for defense. There are no interests America has in another nation. There are no interests Britain has in another nation. There's no interest Canada has in Yemen. There's no interest France has anywhere else other than France. One of the biggest secrets in the world are the slave within. Britain too. Yes, Debbie, we're all slaves. This is a forced labor colony. And how they keep us working is they keep us in debt. Like, I love how people put it. A lot of people in my thread, they kind of explain that money is really debt. It's not like money. Money is just debt. Like, currency systems are based in giving you debt at birth to keep you working. What other better way to give a child debt than to have them acquire the debt even before they're born? To have their parents and grandparents who don't seem to get how this works cheer to put in representative government to create debt for them. So they're literally born a slave. They were born in debt, so they have no choice but to work in forced labor camps called cubicles. Called corporate America, corporate Britain. War is pointless. It is pointless, Jasmine, to us. Absolutely. War makes great sense to thousandaires and millionaires because they become millionaires and billionaires. War makes sense to them. To us, it doesn't mean a damn thing. Makes no sense. Just like nationalism. Makes no sense. It's dumb. Carrying the flag is dumb as carrying the blood and Crip sign. Anytime you sing the Pledge of Allegiance, you might as well be doing that Crip dance. Y'all seen that? I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at the Crip blood. Yeah, hey, listen. We good. I get it. You were born in a rough environment. Warrior genes turned on. You did what you had to. I understand you. Who I don't understand is this middle class. You know how to do that Crip dance to get that? I'd never seen such a thing in my life. When I was a kid, they didn't have that. They just had the colors. It's just colors. But when you fly in your flag, that's what I see now. That's actually what I see when people put these flags, they put them on their car and they ride down the road. I was like, oh, they go a Crip, they go a blood. It's national Crip, they go a national blood, they go a triad, they go a white nationalist, they go, it's all the same thing. It's just on a different level. But people, it's better for adults to sit back and look at kids saying, they're doing drive-by shootings, they're evil, they're joining gangs, they're stupid, get a job, bum. These kids are dangerous. And I'm like, really? Did you just vote for Democrats or Republicans? Did you? The hypocrisy, it's a mess. It's a mess. Can we try this for once? Can we, y'all know that song? How's it go? All we're saying is just give peace a chance. Can we give peace a chance? All I'm saying is, can we give not voting a chance? Can we can we give not voting for war a chance? Because if you vote, you're voting for war. You realize that, right? Doesn't matter who you vote for. War is coming no matter who you vote for. Can we, what would happen if nobody voted? No, what would happen? Assuming your politicians actually are in control, or assuming they actually mean well, they'll have to stop and wonder, why aren't they voting for me anymore? And you can tell them, say, I'm not voting for you because you kill babies. Well, what babies did I kill? Well, what did you vote for genocide in Yemen? Did you vote for funding Saudi Arabia? And with the majority of Congress and Senate and presidents always, okay, well then, you're a baby killer. When we stop blaming troops and start blaming the adults who make the decision, not the kids under 26 that don't have frontal lobes, something might actually happen. But you keep showing up to vote, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna change. They're gonna keep murdering kids in your name and making you and the next generation pay for it. That's why I say there's no difference between gang violence and national violence. It's actually the same stupid thing, and we need to grow up. No, Betty. Betty, pull up. Said vote for Bernie. He's always against war, Betty. Welcome to the thread, sis. Love you. But Bernie's voted for war more than most other politicians. Bernie is a shill. Bernie, unfortunately, I think there was a time in his past when he was marching in the civil rights movement. He was anti-violence. They got Bernie. They already got to him. They got him. He's done. But the more important thing is not about Bernie, because I don't want to make this a political thing. When you make it political, then people tune out. The bottom line is killing babies is wrong, period. If anybody killed babies and took money for it, we should not be voting for them. And I don't know anybody who's running in 2020 who has not killed babies, who's not taken money, got money in their bank account from killing babies. You like babies? I like babies, personally. So we gotta be clear. Be clear, because sometimes people get confused, because I did vote Green Party last time around. I couldn't vote for war, but now that I've really processed it, I'm not saying vote for Green Party. The Greens get mad at me if I say that, but the reality is this. The system requires war. The system literally requires blood. It doesn't matter who you vote for. If you vote, you are voting for a war, because that person, that representative person, that single point of failure, whether his name is Trump or Bernie Sanders or Obama or Clinton, Kamala, all of them. Williamson, what's the other one? AOC, IO, something like that. All of them are a single point of failure. You literally take that person, Betty, and you put them in a place where they're surrounded by 100 of the most powerful people on this planet who represent the most significant billionaires, and none of them take no for an answer. So it doesn't really matter who you put there. It's the system and the model that's failed. That single point of failure will always fail because it's designed to fail. That's why they have the system set up the way it is. It's hard for people to process, but that's what a single point of failure is. And most engineers will tell you that. You can't have a single point of failure because it's too easy to break a nation when you have that. Right now is the time for us to stand down. We got to stand down. We got to stand down. We got to walk away. We have to have love and empathy for the children who've already been murdered, right? We got to have more love and empathy for them, the children who are going to get murdered, the children being murdered today, and the love for the politicians that are signing the bills that are going to kill them. That's what we do on Memorial Day. That's what we should be doing on Memorial Day. Not having barbecues, flying flags, thinking about the next war criminal we want to put back in office. So Memorial Day, Michael said, happy Memorial Day. Well, it's happy for some. To me, I think it's happy if we're actually remembering those who paid the ultimate price and why they paid the price. What they were trying to do, as well as what they were lied into doing. So yeah, I wouldn't go as far as say sad Memorial Day. I don't want to be sad, because sad's not sustainable, right? You got to make your push to evolve the human race sustainable, right? You know, people get miserable. Like when you start to realize that voting doesn't work, when you start to realize your system isn't failing, that it was set up to work this way, it was set up to keep war profitable and keep it, you know, you can fall into depression. I know people who just back away from the whole thing and they go back to voting and doing whatever. This is about evolving and moving forward. And so it can be a happy Memorial Day if you think from the perspective that more people are waking up every day to war being a racket. So I don't know, I have no decisions on whether Memorial Day should be happy or sad. It should definitely be an educational day. Happy, not happy, I need a word for that. Enlightenment Memorial Day, something like that. Enlighten yourself, because that's how you remember these people, and that's how you honor them, is you realize that they were played, and you prevent anyone else from being played again. Today is a work day for me too. I'd rather be productive than doing nothing, only because today is some kind of a holiday. Yeah, well, I'm working too, but most people aren't. So it's a great day to read Always A Racket. Everybody, please consider joining the Red Pill Expo. Thank you, Deborah. I like that. I think you tagged me and I posted that. Red Pill Expo, we need to take the red pill. We need to take the exit the matrix red pill on war. It's never for nations. It's never for nationalism. It's never for you. It's just for billionaires and corporations. Girardian will tell his, what is Girardian, Rebecca? I don't even know what that is. Gerard will tell his boys not to join the military. I do. One almost did. But, you can't like really stop them. Like my kids are little sovereign creatures too. I explain the truth to them and then I let them do it. Like an example, Rebecca, my father, he wanted me to be in the military. He was in the Air Force. He wanted me to be, one of his, one of the statements he wrote before he died is that he wished that one of his kids joined the military. Right? And military is how he died in terms of the weapons of war he made and what they gave him. He suspected, nothing was ever proven, that that's where his lung disease came from, working for the military. And I have an uncle as well, his twin brother also, who came down with a mysterious cancer, working on these weapons of war because they both wanted to be pilots. They both wanted to defend their country, which would have been killing people. But I honor their memory in not joining the military. I honor their memory in teaching my kids that Grandpa was lied to. Grandpa wasn't a bad guy. He was a good guy. But he was lied to, and he was a young guy. He wanted to defend his country because that's what he was told he was supposed to do. That's what he was indoctrinated to do. And what we do is we look at the previous generation and we should be a little upset about them being lied to treasonously to go do things that are unethical, immoral, and foul and upgrade the next generation. I tell my kids not to, but they're gonna make their own choices. You've gotta let other people make their own choices. But even if one of them joined the military, I wouldn't look at them any different. I wouldn't look at them any different than somebody with a laptop working on Wall Street, because they're fighting for the war effort too. They're just fighting in a different way. They're fighting with their laptops. I'm not a blame the soldier people. I'm not a blame the soldier guy. I'm not a blame the cops guy. I am a blame the boss guy. I am, when the ship goes down, you're supposed to blame the captain, not the steerage, right? And the captain should go down with the ship. When the ship sinks, when the Titanic sunk, you're supposed to blame the captain. I'm a blame the captain person. That's why I'm not a blame the police and blame, because it's pointless. That's sustainable, right? That's a sustainable fight on the other side. Blaming the soldiers of Memorial's Day. That just keeps it going. That doesn't stop anything. But when you start blaming the captains, when you start looking up at the top and you're saying, you did this, you're out. You did this, I'm not supporting it. Or even look at the model. This model requires war. It lost my support 100%. You blame the captains. You don't find the lowest, easiest target on the totem pole, some 19 or 20-year-old kid who didn't listen to their parents, didn't understand and joined the military. All right? That's my perspective. I wouldn't view them any differently than I view everybody on here. We all support war. Why? Because we all got bank accounts. So we all support war. All right, listen to the troops, agree with. Well, no, Rebecca, I'm not going to say agree with the troops. I won't say that. I'll say listen to the troops. Read their eyes. Sometimes read what they don't say. The majority of troops I've talked to, I agree with, but I didn't listen to them to agree with them because they've been indoctrinated. I listen to them and I read between the cracks. I see the problems they have. I have friends who wake up in the middle of the night and choke their wives, right? Because they came back from war, they had a dream, and those warrior dreams are still going. So he woke up in the middle of the night and started choking his wife. Listen between the cracks. And this gentleman was against war, but what I'm saying is they can still be for war and not get it. But if you listen to their eyes, not necessarily their mouth, but listen to their eyes, you know that this is activity human beings shouldn't be involved in. So that's what I'm saying when I say that. We're being led, all right, like sheep to the slaughter. Yes, Daniel, every generation, we got to be smarter than that. Did y'all know Cheney is higher up than Papa George was Skull and Bones. No, I didn't know that. Thank you, Daniel. Dick Cheney is a war criminal with the rest of them. So is John McCain, George Bush, all the presidents, most of Congress, whether they got white shirts or not. They're all war criminals. Most of the prime ministers, if they voted for war and people died and their soldiers died, their citizens died, they're treasonous and they're war criminals. They need to be under the prison, more so than any gang member on this planet, because they are national gang members. They kill on a world scale in mass. They don't do a few little drive-by shootings of a person here or there. They shoot millions of people at work on a national scale. Lost 2 uncles in World War II and another cousin in Iraq. 2 cousins have committed suicide after they came back. No help from Virginia. And Augustine, and these are the stories that people have to hear. People have to know that wars are racket. People have to know what we're doing. Human beings aren't designed to kill other human beings. Human beings should never go through that. And then they go fight and they come back. And Smedley Butler talked about that in his book too, how they come back and they don't take care of them. They come back and they actually made them pay for some of their equipment. You know, it's never for the soldiers. It's never for the nation. It's raping the soldiers and the nation. It's just violating them on lies, giving all that profit to big corporations. We should know better by now. Right, we're talking about historical wars. Is everybody awake to the hidden war we are dealing with now? Wilkes, bloodthirsty war to write up about in the next history books. Well, you know what, Debbie, I guess, does that get to like the whole point of rumors of war? They're always silent wars we don't know about. We find out about the quiet wars years later. I had a brother explain to me that we're still fighting wars in Latin America. We just don't really talk about it, but we got troops down there and they actually end up training and funding both sides. We do the same stupid things. And this is why across the board, you say no. You just say no wars. I don't need to know where they are. You can't have the money. You can't have the weapons. You can't have offensive capability, period. You cannot have a standing army, 0. No means no, and exactly what Smedley Butler said. There is no. We don't really need to know where the quiet wars are. We just need to have a government that doesn't have weapons of mass destruction or the ability to wage war, and then we don't have to worry about it because they can't. Please discuss alternatives to government. Well, Elizabeth, see, I'm funny when it comes to that. I mean, there are a lot of alternatives. I always point people to the Zeitgeist movement. I point them to Ubuntu movement. I point them to the Venus Project. Like, I like that. I like the gift-based resource, the gift-based economy and the resource economy. I like all of that. But the reality is, Elizabeth says, see, I don't know you, and I shouldn't be able to control you. Right? Governing is a form of leading, right? It's a form of leadership. And I don't believe in leadership. I believe Elizabeth should be free. I believe Elizabeth should have liberty. I believe Elizabeth should go live her life without being told what to do by anybody. I don't think Elizabeth should be in line behind anybody. Like, I believe in family, right? There's no government in family, right? How do families get along? They just get along. We're 7 billion family members all over this planet. And the only thing we're ever in conflict over is food, water, and resources and houses and all that stuff automation and robots can actually supply. So not only is government like a new invention, the majority of the time we're on this planet, we didn't have government. We didn't have those leadership structures that tell us what to do. I think you should be able to go live your life. We don't really need that. All we really need is a basic sense of self and sovereignty. You live your life, let them live their lives. Live and let live. There is no need actually for government. I believe in a facilitatement. I think that in order to get to a place where people can just be free and go live their lives and robots provide all the labor and everything, that we need to be walked in that direction. We have a lot of people who are psychopathic and they're artificially psychopathic. They have artificial mental illness because we raise people in poverty or extreme wealth. We raise kids in trailer parks or ghettos and barrios. We shut off their water and their power and things that make them crazy. We send them to school with kids who have brand new shoes and they've been wearing shoes for the past 4 years. Yeah, we make kids psychopaths and we give them hate. And so we got to go from where we are today to a place of non-governing. We need a target of freeing the human race from any sort of leadership or control, but we can't go there overnight, right? We have a lot of people who end up in the prison system or doing something that's a violent crime because we raised them in hate. We helped them cultivate their hate and they did a hateful thing. So we got to kind of deal with that. We need a facilitatement. We need a step between government facilitating our resources, helping people based in a sovereignty model of reducing law. We need to start deleting laws. We need to start getting rid of the things that are the opposite of freedom and freeing people. We need to start deregulating, getting rid of the regulation that keeps big corporations in control of things, giving small business and medium business a chance. Like, we need to go that direction. I don't want to make you think that I've thought for years about this. This is why I point people to Peter Joseph and the Zeitgeist movement. I point people to the professionals who've been thinking about these things. I'm only starting to really think about these things, but there are a lot of great examples. It is a slave mindset that I've been raised in, to think that I need a government. It's that slave mentality that I need a leader. It's a slave mentality that I need a master, that human beings need to be controlled, that we are wild creatures, and we're not. When we have everything we need, we get along. And I look out here all day long, I just see people getting along. And it's not the laws that make them do that. They get along because they're human beings. I think at the core of it, human beings are wonderful things when they're not starved into conflict. And that's what all these economic systems and societies and nations do, is they starve people into conflict. All right, how you going? Last couple comments. I actually got to roll. I am working today. I'm slaving today. Julian Assange in prison for exposing war crimes. Exactly, and so Assange is a truth teller. He's telling the truth about war, and so he gets thrown in prison. If that's not an indicator to people that nobody in their government actually is for the nation, therefore keeping people lied to and keeping wars going, that should be the first clue. And so, what replaces government? I do care, and I have ideas, and I like the other professionals' ideas, but I honestly don't care. I have to be honest with you. Like, nothing is worse than today. Nothing. Absolutely nothing is worse today. So government could get deleted today, and I'm good with that. Nothing is worth it. We literally drop ovens, incendiary bombs on children and women and senior citizens every single day, almost 100 times a day now, they say. Nothing is worse than today. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm not going to use my no bomb privilege sitting here in America, where I have somewhat freedom and I can go down the street and buy a Starbucks and not worry about being shot and killed and blown up by a drone attack. I'm not going to use that privilege over the people who are under the boot. So nothing. I'm fine with nothing. I'm fine with nothing. We can build something from scratch, if you ask me. But as an adult, I have to be for the next generation more than I am for myself. I have to be for life. And I've already lived a good life. I'm 45 years old. That's a young man. But I've already lived a good life. I need to speak up for the voiceless, and those are the ones that we're dropping bombs on, so people can have these vendetta ego contests about who their president is, or who their congressperson is, or who their senator are. They're all war criminals. They're all wanting to kill babies and give me the profits from it. So I have an issue with that. I really don't care what they get replaced with. So I'm all for, hey, let's replace it. Let's move forward, facilitate amendments, start deleting laws, whatever, and start heading in a sovereign direction of freeing the human race. But I'm also for just the whole thing collapsing. But either way, I'm not for continuing to kill and murder children all around this planet so I can live a comfy life. I'm completely against that. All right. Remain in amateur professionals have nothing more to learn and maintain the status quo. But when I'm saying professional in that sense, Rebecca, I'm just talking about someone who spent time looking at what does the world look like if we aren't a bunch of slaves voting for a new master. What does the world look like? And so the Peter Josephs and the Jacques Frescos have thought about this stuff. And so I want to lean kind of their understanding a little more, because they spent more time in that mental exercise. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about, professional in that. There's nothing wrong with being old. We all hope to get there. There's nothing wrong with being old. And Laura, you're not old. Smedley, Butler isn't old. But, it's a thing of listening to elders. Like, I like the word elder more than old, right? Like, listen to your elders. Listen to people who got a little more experience than you do. Process that information, regurgitate it, add to it, upgrade it, and spit it back out as something better. So we need old people. And this is why I think this whole model puts old folks in homes for a reason. I think they over-medicate them and experiment them for a reason. I don't really think that Alzheimer's and dementia is accidental. I think it's environmental, and I think that's what they want. They can't have Smedley Butlers getting old telling us the truth. They can't have Smedley Butlers getting old telling us that nations don't even exist anymore. And nationalism is an actual lie. That it literally, the patriotism, you're just being patriotic to a bank. You're being patriotic to big corporations. That you're not fighting for your freedom and democracy, that you're not helping children. You're murdering children because big corporations want to sell tennis shoes. Literally, that is what's happening. You're murdering women and you're creating, gangs of men to rape entire towns of women in Honduras because you want to, was it Colombia? Because you want to plant some bananas. You want a banana field. Like, that actually is how sick this really is. That's what I'm saying. We all got to grow up. We all got to grow up and realize that we need to stop being gang members. We need to stop throwing up gang signs, political parties and politicians, and change the model of the world. We can do a paradigm shift, but it means we all got to have more love for these kids than love for our own egos and beating another political party out and stand down our government. Love, peace, revolution, family. Absolutely. Let me see. Thank you, Gerard, for spending time with us today. Well, Elizabeth, I didn't have a choice, sis. I didn't have a choice. I don't have a choice. I'm trying to become a better adult, more mature adult, and the only way to do that, you got to look at those who learn very hard lessons. These soldiers, these troops, these Smedley Butlers, to let us know what's really happening in the world. You know what I mean? And we all got an obligation to each other. We are all 7 billion family members all over this world. 7 billion. And we need to start acting like we're family. We need to start treating each other like we're family. So I really don't have a choice to do this, sis. It's my little part. It's my little small part. I'm going to do my part the best that I can to try to bring discussions and thoughts to bear based on what a lot of these intelligent people that you see over here are saying. I try to make friends from all over the planet, from all walks of life, to teach me. And we try to have engaging conversation and how to restart evolution. We've stopped evolution and we need to restart it. We need to, one day we might become civilized. One day we might become sentient. And the only way we get there is we need to respect the sacrifice of those who came before us in taking modern information, upgrading it, and doing something effectively. All right, so I'm gonna end on this. Smedley Butler had 3 points. How do you end war? He said 3 steps taken to smash the war racket, because it's always a racket. It was a racket then, it's a racket now, it's a racket tomorrow. And anyone who tells you it's not is lying to you. Any politician that tells you Iran is for freedom or nuclear is lying to you. Anyone who tells you North Korea, lying to you. Anyone tells you Iraq, lying. Anyone tells you Yemen, they're all lying to you. Anyone telling you about Latin America, Venezuela, they're all lying to you. It's all a racket for big corporations. He said the 3 steps to stop it. 1, you gotta take the profit out of war. 2, we must permit the youth of the land who would bear arms to decide whether or not they should be at war. The troops should be able to be voting for whether or not they go to war or not. That's actually called a direct democracy. Referendum, this brother was way ahead of his time. And 3, we must limit our military forces to home defenses only. Go back to calling treason treason. Sending children to die for oil companies and rubber companies and banks is treason. The price for treason is death. The same price they give these kids who were lied to and they lost their lives thinking they were doing something great for their neighbors. So that's what I think you think about on Memorial Day. I think you think about stopping the thought processes that makes Memorial Day sustainable for big bankers and corporations and those who would murder the youth. So fill a bank account with digits. Hey, there's a guy, get it going. It's Gerard, listen, love y'all to death, great discussion. I'll post the links. Please listen to Always A Racket. Smedley Butler did a couple speeches and essays on that. I'll post the links. Y'all have a great day. And Enlightenment Memorials Day. Enlightenment Memorials Day. One day in the future, the goal of Memorial Day to never have another Memorial Day again. How you going? Y'all, Wars a Racket, read Smedley, Butler. I'm out of here. It's Gerard. Love y'all to death now. Bye-bye.
Appeared before the Congressional Committee, the highest representation of the American people, under subpoena to tell what I knew of activities which I believe might lead to an attempt to set up a fascist dictatorship. The plan as outlined to me was to form an organization of veterans, to use as a bluff or as a club at least, to intimidate the government and break down our democratic institutions. The upshot of the whole thing was that I was supposed to lead an organization of 500,000 men, which would be able to take over the functions of government. I talked with an investigator for this committee who came to me with a subpoena on Sunday, November 18th. He told me they had unearthed evidence linking my name with several such veteran organizations. As it then seemed to me to be getting serious, I felt it was my duty to tell all I knew of such activities to this committee. My main interest in all this is to preserve our democratic institutions. I want to retain the right to vote, the right to speak freely, and the right to write. If we maintain these basic principles, our democracy is safe. No dictatorship can exist with suffrage, freedom of speech, and press.
The government or states paid as high as